Hello everybody and welcome back to the KCM. We're here with week number 7. We're going to be starting off on Dominator. Let's get it started. Alright guys, welcome back. Welcome back, Shun. Feels like it's been a while, but it's only been 1 week. It's just a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah, quite a lot of crazy stuff has happened. We've been super busy casting the ASL, but it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's been a great time. Absolute dream come true, but here we are back to our bread and butter. The tournament we've been casting for more than 2 years together now, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a journey, and we're here for the long haul, so I'm looking forward to more and more of this KCM series.
Absolutely, we've got a great lineup today, guys. Sock, Light, JYJ. I'm a little surprised to see JYJ in here, but here he is. Mini, Tyson, Rain, making a surprise appearance. Long time since we've had Rain in the KCM. But it's nice to have a good, strong Protoss player with us today, and Hero Action Sulky. That is a sick lineup for the Zerg as well.
Yeah, the Zerg lineup is absolutely monstrous. Probably 3 of the best players just simply available right now. And yeah, having Rain come in and make a little bit of an appearance is really a bit of a treat as well. And I'm happy to see JYJ show up. He wasn't able to squeeze through the qualifiers for the ASL. I'm not going to give any more spoilers deeper than that, but it's nice to be able to see some games from this guy after getting a little bit unfortunate in his qualifiers.
Yeah, please guys, we'll try not to spoil anything for the ASL and try to keep the comments section spoiler free as well. Want people to be able to come here and enjoy the KCM if they haven't seen the ASL yet, not to ruin their fun. So we've got Tyson here at the top center. He has just thrown down a Nexus First Dominator. Not much of a Nexus First map, but he's going to try and pull it off here.
Yeah, it's not usually the kind of map you want to throw a Nexus First on, honestly. Especially when you can sometimes abuse the Terran wanting to be a little bit greedy in the early game due to that high and low ground transition from the natural to main. A little bit more exposed as Terran. He's okay. He's not going to be scouting the right way either with this probe. So I wonder, I don't think it matters too much. Sark is doing his like tried and true bunker expand. He loves to go for bunker expand in Terran versus Protoss, and I'm guessing this is why Tyson's even bothering to think about the Nexus First here to begin with. It's just because he knows that Sark is this bunker expand guy.
Yeah, it's scary to put that Nexus up there because if you get bunker rushed, and there's a bunker at the top of your ramp, my goodness, is it going to be tough. And so Tyson actually goes for double gateway after this, a safer version of the Nexus First to make sure that he's got enough stuff to hold that off, but it's unnecessary. Sock, bunker expand. He can't really put on any pressure, so we're going to get into a pretty quick macro game for both players.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see anything too crazy early on from either one here. Probe Scout gonna be trying to sneak past this Marine. He hasn't really got a lot to stop this probe from getting in right now. Second Marine is probably going to take out this probe, but not before he gets quite a significant amount of scout. Oh, he does actually kill the probe, so he's going to get inside the main base as well. It's not that big of a deal here, but it would be interesting to know that there's no like craziness coming from Sark, like a bio build where there's additional barracks being thrown down in an academy for some kind of crazy early rush here. So it's good scouting information from Tyson just to make sure that he's safe going forward with his plan.
Alright, scouting out everything in the main base. Tyson gonna go ahead and chase this down. SCV, can he get inside? Ooh, nice scout here. Gonna see that range is on the way, and so no quick robo behind this, skipping range or anything like that. Tyson is being quite safe and is going to have an adequate number of Dragoons to stop any pressure that Sock could go for early. His response, second factory, everything looking very standard. No shenanigans thus far.
Yeah, I mean, 2 gates is basically the most middle-of-the-road way of playing this matchup. 3-gate observer is the most safest cookie-cutter way of playing to make sure you pretty much don't die to anything. opening, and 2-gate is pretty much like you don't want to go too crazy safe because you want to optimize your build for that slightly faster tech and expansion timings. So you see most players elect for this 2-gate style. You can get away with 1-gate robo and go straight into that Reaver tech earlier on. It just makes you a little bit more flimsy to the double factory potential, and like a strong free tank push or a very strong FD can also sometimes cause you problems.
Who do you think is more ahead when both players have full information like this? Is it the Terran or the Protoss? I feel like it might be the Terran because he just can skip over turrets completely. He knows that he doesn't have to add those defenses. What do you think?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, overall it is technically Protoss-sided by ever so slightly just because of the openings, but getting the Vulture in changes the calculations quite significantly. If this kills 3 probes, that's insane. He's got 2 so far, and he's still keeping it alive. He gets a 3rd probe here. Oh, he gets the 3rd probe. That is nice for Zerg here, and he might even get a 4th. Okay, that's critical damage, saying. Losing the Vulture's not that great for a Terran player, but when you get 4 probes for it, it's definitely more worth. Lifting that barracks to make sure he's got more surface area to repair, as well as getting this tank out to start pressuring these goons. He does invite a few phase disruption shots onto that tank if he's not careful, though. Needs to keep microing that back and forth. It does take 4 volleys for 2 Dragoons to kill this tank, so can just micro back and forth and repair that up a little bit. It needs to be careful with these additional units coming forward.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty careful here. He's going to push out and try to get a kill on this. He does get 1 Dragoon. That's big. Takes a lot of the wind out of the sails for Tyson, who was planning to maybe try to run by this bunker, but now it's not really going to happen. 3 tanks are at this front. Okay, he's still going to come up here and pressure at the very bare minimum, but he's not going to dive forward. He's pulling back his Zealot to pop up into that shuttle and start the harassment here with his Reaver shuttle. 3rd base may be coming up shortly as well, although it's not the fastest 3rd base that could ever happen. Because he went for this Reaver, he's kind of got to slow down a little bit, so he needs to get some value out of this thing.
Right, yeah, your robo support bay, shuttle, and Reaver, that sets you back quite a significant amount of resources. You can't afford to drop that Nexus until usually gone 7 minutes if you don't want to die to any potential Terran push here. So you making constant Dragoon production and probes and this shuttle Reaver is a lot of investment. So usually you see this Nexus come down a little bit after 7 minutes when they're going for 2-gate. The earliest timing you could take it is like off a 1-gate with maybe 5 minutes, but usually you don't see that until the 6-minute mark to be a little bit safer. And this 7-minute timing is still standard enough that he will be on curve with matching this bunker expand. Needs to ideally get some damage with this Reaver, though. If he whiffs this Reaver, Zerg's going to be in a great position. We have some Goliaths instead of turrets moving around as well. This is very optimized for Zerg, not having to invest into that eBay, and turrets does now start to, like you were talking about before, put him into a more advantageous position on paper if he can maintain this game state. And he kicked, oh my gosh, he's getting a lot of damage onto this shuttle already. So far so good for Zerg. Needs to just avoid any critical damage from these Reavers, Scarabs. If he can ward away this shuttle utilizing the Karen boosters of this Goliath, that's going to be huge. It's got 30 hit points already. Scans for it, he might get it. 1 more connection, not able to find that final hit though, unfortunately. Beautiful idea there from Zerg to try and catch it on that escape vector though.
Interesting from Zerg to go for Charon boosters so early. You know, he didn't even get Vulture speed or mines. He got siege mode and Charon boosters first. And so this push is going to be strong, and he can definitely ward away this shuttle, but he doesn't have the value of the mines just yet.
Yeah, Flash experimented with this style of play once upon a time. He was doing a lot of bunker expands and going for this style where you can cut on turrets and get these Goliaths out early so you can deal with the early Reaver shenanigans and allow you to push out to take a very quick 3rd to kind of compensate for the fact that you can't really get across the map to kill the Protoss 3rd. Well, you can at least get your 3rd out nice and early. So that will compensate a lot here for Zerg in this game. So he was actually currently even on supplies. So I would definitely give this game a little bit of a favorite to Zerg Sark there. Luckily for Tyson, avoiding that mine connection would have been a bit annoying.
An 8-minute 30 CC started there at the third base. That's pretty darn good. And remember, this is the newer version of Dominator, so we can build turrets out in the front. Oh, these vultures. One gonna slip by? No. Nice pylon there. Just gonna block that out. So the vultures haven't really done much, but Sok is still in a really reasonable position with this base coming up so soon. And on this new version of Dominator, you can build those turrets out a lot farther onto the pizza slice, so he will have a very strong position as soon as he gets those turrets down.
Yeah, it's a pretty easily fortified position now with the changes. You do have this wall on the cliff edge as well, which does make it harder for Terrans to lay siege to the main base of the Protoss from the pizza slices as they're pushing in on the rally point. So there's also some balance changes to help out the Protoss player, alleviate some tension from those potentially devastating tank pushes later on. Do have two shuttles sharking around. The observer in the main's kind of eyeing up some potential attack vectors for these two shuttles to maybe get some damage done. But look at these Goliaths, beautifully positioned by Sark. He's waiting for it, though Tyson is going to try and thread the needle despite this. Some connections on that shuttle. One will get taken down at the very least. Other shuttle does make its way into the main base by the knowing that this observer can clear the path, but with only 4 Zealots, isn't really going to do a lot. He needed that Reaver, and he lost the one with the Reaver in it.
It's too bad Tyson didn't switch the Reaver over to the healthier shuttle. He left it in the low HP one and ends up losing it without really getting much damage in this main. Just gonna have to back away now. That was a really smart move by Sok to put his Goliath down in that position. Very, very good timing. Star sense there showing through for Sok, and now he's got in a huge amount of factories. He's ready to do some sort of push. Is he just gonna go right along the top here, or is he going to try to expand over to his fourth? I like it when Terran players push to the middle of the map here on Dominator. What about you, Shun?
Yeah, usually pushing to the middle and then attacking from there is the way Light likes to approach this map. It does give you so much more dynamy to the way you can move your army around, but it looks like Sark wants to shove north over the pizza slices and see if he can set up here and force a frontal engagement. I doubt Tyson's going to take this fight, though. He has got a Reaver sharking around in this shuttle onto the left, or maybe it's still just Zealots waiting for either Zealot bombs or to get in here to support. It probably is a Zealot bomb, actually, considering it's waiting on the left. This is a little bit problematic for Tyson. How does he deal with this army head on? He has to pull back, and he's conceding each pizza slice. He's got this base coming online. There's no way of stopping this. He has to go. He has to dive bomb onto these units. I think it's one of those Zealots out of the shuttle bomb as well. Another shuttle coming from the west to try and get some damage done onto these tanks, laying down 2 Zealots and a Reaver. So there is some splash damage available to him, but it's not enough. He gets targeted down by Sark as he shovels his tanks back. Tyson will win this fight, however. He's done a great job. There's not that many vultures here to weather the Zealots that are coming out, and he's sieging in a little bit of a precarious position now. He's going to kill the majority of these siege tanks, so Tyson, despite not having the most cost-efficient of trades here, will kill the majority of Sark's tanks. I hope Tyson's macro's been solid behind this, because otherwise Sark is going to kill this expansion.
I'm kind of surprised that Sark wanted to push so far forward without the vulture rally. Like, he was waiting on those vultures that must have been getting incremented out of the factories as he was pushing forward, but he didn't wait long enough, and now the Zealots are just going to overwhelm this. It's an easy win now for Tyson, at least in this battle. He's going to be able to push everything back. Storms landing on a lot of this stuff. Dragoons are going to pop out, and in these low numbers, the Terran mech is just not that strong. Dragoons are going to come forward, a few more tanks come up, but as long as he's got another round of Zealots coming up here, he should be able to break this, although Turret did finish. Turret is going to help out a lot, pushing back these shuttles, and he will have to pull his probes away. The fourth base is coming up as well. Sok, despite jumping the gun a little bit with that attack, is starting to make some progress now with this follow-up.
This is a little bit scary, saying. I mean, he's matching the gateway count 1-for-1 here. I think it's 8 gateways to 8 factories. That's definitely Terran-sided, even on supply. And he's on this pizza slice. You see that wall there preventing the tanks from easily shooting inside of the main base of Tyson there. But it doesn't matter. He's going to be taking out this mineral-only, limiting the production value of available to Tyson here. He's got 2 shuttles trying to dive towards Sark's base. I think he's just trying to get as much damage as possible to the economy of the Terran player, since he has suffered his own loss is he could storm from the other side if he's got High Templars in here, but it looks like he's just going to be diving into the main base and get a storm there instead. If you do pull out these SCVs, you don't lose them right away to the storm, but they are dangerously low on HP to follow up storms, so Tyson may want to attack this base again after getting some more energy back and storm those SCVs. They'll be much more easier to kill next time around.
Sock is really running away with this game, man. He's got such a good position over there on that high ground. He's lost a few SCVs, but he's expanding like crazy. Here comes another storm drop possibly into this base. Looks like Tyson is busy elsewhere for the moment. He's actually moving his army around here because Sock is starting to hit his gateways and units popping out of them inside the main base. Here comes that other storm drop. Gonna go ahead and hit all these SCVs. Some really good storms here. But now a Wraith pops out. He will be able to run these down. I don't know, man. I really feel like Tyson is in a tight position. He is, well, being forced onto his side of the map, and he doesn't even have this 4th base mining yet.
Yeah, well, he is, but Sark has sacrificed his upgrade timing to achieve all of this, so maybe, just maybe, somehow Tyson can, like, hold on just for a little bit longer here and turn this into a longer game. He might be able to outscale Sark on the upgrade timings just a little bit, although it's looking a little bit dicey for him. He can't really get a lot done on this southern flank here. He's not slowing down the expansion efforts of Sark at all. He's going to be jumping up into 5 bases worth of economy, while Tyson is sitting back on 4. He tried to get a good mine drag there. Wasn't even successful in doing so, really. So this tank is still alive. It's kind of wild that he's been just able to chill out up in this position for so long. Tyson will finally clean this up, but at what cost? He's still pretty much even on supply. And look at the army of Sark. It's starting to get monstrous now, despite lacking upgrades.
Jeez, Sock looks really scary, man. This push was incredibly well done. Imagine, or this macro was incredibly well done. Imagine if the push had gone a little bit better, that initial push. If he'd waited for a round of vultures before pushing in there, oh my goodness, he had so many tanks that were lost, and he still got this much afterwards. It is kind of crazy what Sock's been able to do.
He has definitely outmaneuvered Tyson in this game with the build order after the fact of weathering the storm against that early Reaver pressure. There's just not a lot available to Tyson to get anything done here. He's trying to slow the movements of Sark. He's got an arc set up here with some High Templar support. Shuttles and Reavers get taken out, though. Now the target fire onto the High Templar as well. Some Sonic Storms will be able to connect with these siege tanks, and a Dark Templar going to work too there, but he hasn't scanned for this DT, actually. This DT's putting a lot of work. Finally, that scan comes out, but not before losing quite a significant amount of these tanks. Maybe, just maybe, Tyson can punch Sark enough times here to keep him weak enough so that Tyson can get his own bases back online and get his production going. Still, though, the supply is reflecting a pretty solid position for Sark, and that armory is churning away, so we'll be getting that +2 weapons online soon in the next minute or so.
Feels like I just blinked and suddenly Sock is on 5 bases, though. He's been setting these up while making these moves on Tyson's side of the map and defending everywhere pretty well. Perfect. Now he's going to push over here to the 4th base of Tyson, and man, if he loses this base, he's going to be behind on bases again. I don't think you can stay behind on bases for long and hope to win a game like this. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and counterattack. He's not going to be able to come up there and save that Nexus in time. So he's going to bet everything on one massive counterattack. This is it. This is everything from Tyson. If he gets in here, maybe he can make something happen, but this position is looking really strong from Sock. Sock going to block this with just his rally point. Crazy.
Yeah. This is pretty wild saying, like, this is kind of how Flash used to play. He just had more stuff than you, so while he's attacking you, his rally point is also able to be pretty good at defending. There are still some leftover remnants of the army of Tyson here, getting some work done. He has shaved off some of the tank count, but again, the supplies are slightly in favor of Sark here. This is not the greatest position for Tyson at all, especially with getting these bases knocked out. He's only got two bases worth of economy, and one of those is a mineral only. He has to tap out. GG is finally called. What a well-played game from Sark.
Absolutely outplayed there. Tyson opting for the Nexus first into Reaver play. Gets shut down pretty hard by what's not really a typical Terran opener, going directly into siege mode and Charon boosters, like you said, maybe in a flash-inspired style of play there from Sock. He made it look very, very good though, and he's going to go up against a Zerg player next. The lineup is looking stacked. Who's going to be his next opponent? We're about to find out. Action is going to be his next opponent. Sock spawning here in the bottom left. Action in the top left. I've been enjoying this map actually quite a bit on ladder. Metropolis is kind of a fun one.
Honestly, yeah, it's kind of a fun map. I mean, I've seen Action also do craziness on this. Do you remember when he was like making hatcheries in like the corners of these bases and using Niduses and stuff? We might be seeing a similar game here if Sock decides to go all the way into a late game. Action's probably one of the best in the business at using defilers and Nidus canals. Like, he comes up the most creative ways of abusing them, and maps like this are perfect for abusing that style, because you can hide this hatchery right in the corner of these boot-shaped main bases and get a Nidus canal set up there, and suddenly you've got access to either take another expansion or maybe even to attack the Terran if he's not paying attention while trying to take a base.
Well, we'll see if Action is, or if Sock's able to back Action into a corner enough to necessitate a play like that. I don't think you do that just as like a, you know, if you're ahead, you're definitely not going to take the hatchery in the corner first and try to push into that. I think it's like a something that needs to be necessitated by a kind of a bad position. So we'll see if Sock can back Action into a corner and whether he's going to be able to pull off a play like that in order to get himself back in. Action going to take his 11 hatchery here. Oh, after the spawning pool, excuse me. So overpool into 11 hatch. Interesting. So he wants to get some lings out here. He's a little bit afraid of some early marine pressure coming out of Sock, but it really does look like a normal 1-Rax fast expand from him.
Yeah, maybe 8-Rax and BBS becoming a little bit more in style on this map for Terrans, and you just want to be safe against that. And Action's the kind of guy, he's happy to play from behind a little bit like Sulk. He doesn't mind investing a lot into this early game defense to make sure he's okay, knowing that he's got the skills required to come back in the economic curve of the game later on. He's making a little bit of a commitment to making sure he's safe against this. So this will benefit Sark going for this wall in and playing standard with this early investment from Action. Let's see if he can navigate this into a favorable position going into the mid game. I doubt we'll be seeing any early shenanigans from Sark due to this pull first build, but I guess it's still possible. He could throw down a second Rax right now.
Looks like he has the CC on the way in that natural. We haven't gotten a shot of it yet to make sure it's actually a CC, and that's something that Action will have to confirm with his Overlord, but pretty sure that's going to be a CC coming up in the natural, and we're going to get a pretty normal opener here from Sock. I'm always excited to see Action play in the late game, so I really do hope we make it to Hive, and our Sock doesn't manage to break open Action too early. We'll have to see. We'll see where Sock's at right now. He really did seem strong in that last game. I wonder if he's got the chops to take down Action early.
I mean, I don't think so, but I would love to see it. It'd be definitely a bit of a surprise and an upset. We have these Marines kind of checking around to see if there's maybe like a hidden Overlord down to this third base location. Doesn't find anything there. Action now seeing the timing of that command center will confirm pretty much most of the build order choice from Sark, just based on that timing alone. Do have that second barracks coming down actually, so there may still be some pressure levied towards Action in this early stage. He hasn't elected to try and get a plus fast 1 weapons timing with an early range upgrade to do a bit of a delayed attack here, so he definitely wants to maybe think about putting some pressure early onto Action and see if he can exploit the fact that he's not got quite as many drones as usual, so forcing him to make Sunkens would be a big deal.
Yeah, whenever you have to open up pool first, the drone count is just not quite as good. You don't have as much larva. Oh, what? Actually, hatchery at a very odd location. Generally not the chosen spot to take that third hatchery because it is so close. And Zerg is pushing out with the 2 barracks play. If he knew about that, he could pretty easily put pressure on that base. Oh my gosh, he canceled the sunken colony here. Because he's seeing some Marines just to the just in front of the natural, so he's actually delayed Zerg from pushing out long enough, I guess, so that he will be able to get just all Mutalisks made. Scan comes down, he sees no sunken colonies, but there's really nothing Zerg can do about this anymore. This is a pretty good move from Action. How will he be playing with this third hatchery, though? That's my big question.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine it's some kind of cheesy play. I don't imagine he's going to try and play a macro game from this. This could be like just a very fast 3-hatch all-in muta play where he wants to just build as many Mutalisks as possible, and having this hatchery here does allow you a slightly faster rally point for these mutas to get down there into that Terran natural expansion and keep the pressure on, hammering on those turrets before he can hope to get any Valkyries or Science Vessels out. Might be his winning ticket here. It is a little bit of a precarious spot to defend. It's hard to get your Marines behind there, and you've also got this high ground to retreat to as the Zerg. Should be able to abuse this spot if he wants to. Hasn't tried to slow down in these turret timings. I'm really curious if he is going to be going for a 3-hatch all-in muta here, or if we are going to be seeing some kind of transition in the next 30 seconds or so. We should be seeing some tech buildings from Action if he is going to be transitioning. So far he's just getting that 3rd gas online and maintaining production, so I am thinking this might be a 3-hatch all-in muta.
My first thought when I saw that was that he's going to go for a quick hive and a defiler push, but I might be completely
too slow, right? That's too slow on 3 bases, I think. Like, yeah, I think so.
Defiler, you don't Defiler push on 3 base? Yeah, no, you can do it. You can for sure do it. But sorry, what are you trying to say?
I'm just saying it's like a whole like minute or 2 minutes slower than it would be on 2 base. So I don't think it has the same kind of potential against Zerg here. I think he'd be better off just going all in muta.
That's definitely a possibility, but I think it's still strong. It's just he should have thrown down a Queen's Nest by now, so I don't think it's going to happen. Coming in and hitting this natural. Zerg is pretty confused right now. He's like, where is your 3rd base, man? He's looking around. He's sending a Marine, I think, top over there to the top right, and starting to lose some SCVs here. This position has been broken open. It does indeed look like he's going to all-in muta. He's continuing to build Mutalisks here, and just non-stop pressure coming into this natural. It is so hard to get back here with those Marines. He's pushing the SCVs away, and as those Marines come back, he just backs up, gets back together, groups up these mutas, and he can put some sunken colonies up on that high ground as well. He's still looking. He can't find it.
Yeah, this is one of the best things about taking a weird 3rd, is that it just takes so long for the Terran to find it. They can't really make a decision with their build order or their army movements until they know exactly what's going on. And he's thinking, hang on a minute, this can't be a 2-hatch all-in muta. So now he's not even going to be considering the 3-hatch all-in muta play, which is going to be making it really difficult for Zerg to calculate exactly what he needs to defend here. There's just going to be more stuff than there should be. Now he's going to finally see this 3rd base with the Zerglings and mutas here to micro on this round. Really well played from Action. Now he's going to come back with his additional moves as well and clean this up. Oh, this is such a cost-efficient cleanup from Action. He is completely outmaneuvering Zerg in this game, with just straight up Mutalisk production, saying GG finally called from Zerg, and instead was going to be going on to another Protoss versus Zerg for our viewing pleasure of Mini or Rain, and I'm so excited to see Rain play.
Really great game there by Action. Yeah, can't wait to see Rain come out here, but Mini's been playing at another level as well in the ASL, so really looking forward to seeing him play. Let's jump into our next game. Mini is our next player getting sent out here. Really enjoy watching this guy play, and we're going to get the pleasure of watching him on Eclipse, a storied map in both the ASL and in Brood War in general. seen so many good maps, or so many good games here on this map, but in general, for Protoss versus Zerg, the lanes, the extra bases in the bottom right-hand corner with those tiny, tiny ramps, this can get pretty weird. The PvZ on this map can get pretty darn strange.
Yeah, you can sometimes try and avoid that by expanding, say, to the bottom right instead of to the top left lane as your fourth base, and try and make it harder for the Protoss to attack and defend on the same axis and force them to choose which side of the map they want to commit their army. It's not always easy though to navigate this map. There was a lot of hate for it, I guess, because it's been it was on the latter seasons for quite a while. It took a long time for them to finally update the map pool. It is a good map, it's just that it was around for so long and abused for so long that people got a little bit tired of it on the ladder. Overall though, definitely provides some exciting games. Mini did a bit of a block here, and he's going for actually a fast 2-gate in main base 2-gate as well. Sometimes you'll see this 2-gate in the natural expansion to create a wall for a transition, but he wants to make it even harder for this Overlord to confirm this. He's got a good read on action that he won't be drone scouting this game, and that's going to punish him a little bit. Not having much intel on these 2 gateways coming out at the very latest will be a little bit problematic for Action to navigate. He's squeezing out so many drones that there won't be much lava available to him. You can see he's trying to hide this Zealot away from this first scouting Overlord.
Mini is kind of famous for doing this type of play. The double gateway play is pretty darn strong. Yeah, as soon as he sees the natural and that there's no wall in, he'll know that it's definitely some sort of double gateway that's coming his direction. But this is so annoying what Mini's doing right now. Blocking the natural and going double gateway, it forces you into this weird situation as the Zerg player where you've got 3 spread out bases and you're up against a 1-base style players, so you can't really afford to mine off of all 3 of these, and initially you're gonna be so spread out, it's gonna be really awkward for Action, and he's gonna pop out a few lings here, get on top of that probe. He does get the probe immediately. That's kind of big. Getting rid of that probe right away and still retaining 4 lings means that he can dive on top of the Zealot and take a pretty good fight.
This is a really good hold from Action thus far. That probe does allow those Zealots to kill the Zerglings in 2 hits though. Getting rid of that is so important. He's trying to force a little bit lost line mining time, but Action gets the surround on that Zealot. Really nicely done. The 2 Zealots, though, are going to be making their way downtown to that 3rd base location. So he's trying to buy as much time as possible and keep these lings pinned down. Has got a Sunken on the way that's just finished. Action is trying to navigate. I thought he was going to lava trick there for a second as well. Can also use these lava to help defend this Sunken by glitching out the Zealots if they try and connect onto it. Needs to be very careful in where he commits these Zealots. He cannot afford to make one mistake or Action will start to overrun him.
Oh man, that sunken colony over at the 3rd was Galaxy Brain from Action. He's done some sort of larva trick here to get an extra set of lings out, but he needs an Overlord. There it is. It does finally pop. He is going to get some gas. Is he just going to get 100 and then pull off? Looks like he's going to continue to make gas, and he will get a layer. It's interesting. Okay, he did cancel the natural. This is the weirdness that happens when your opponent goes for 2 gateway play. You can't really afford 3 hatcheries, and so he cancels the natural in order to get back down to 2 hatcheries and be able to keep up with Mini. But now he's in this really awkward situation where he's got bases so spread out and split up. He's gonna get this around on these Zealots. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Mini let these lings go down the ramp. He's actually gonna clear this so much more efficiently than otherwise he would have. Oh my gosh, he wins that fight. Really, really good stuff here from Action.
Yeah, it's really impressive stuff, and he's going to be going straight into that spire. He knows that there's a chance that Mini's going to do some shenanigans from this 1-base play. You can just go straight into a fast Stargate here, but it is going to be that robo choice from Mini, and I think that with this fast spire, he might just be able to not only sniff this out, but do a pretty good job of counteracting that. I think did he manage to force a Dragoon as well? Yeah, this is another thing, is that by going deep into the main base base with the Overlord and then running it back out again, the Protoss players will also start to make Dragoons pretty early on, which also makes it a little bit harder for them to optimize their build order following this 2-gate. So Action's done a really great job of navigating this game thus far. I'm really curious to see if Mini's going to be able to hold the line here with just pure Dragoon into Reaver. How would you do that against potential Mutalisks that are going to be starting to come out soon?
Oh, this is a complete own by Action. He pushed the Zealots out of his third base. He showed the sunken colony, and then he built the lair over there at the third while Mini was scouting the main with the Zealots. So he Mini thinks that he's up against some sort of Hydralisk play right now. He thinks that it's going to be, him preparing, Action preparing for a Corsair by making Hydralisk, and it's actually going to be a bunch of mutas coming across the map in a moment, and that is just, oh my gosh, and he's going to surround and kill a Dragoon too. There goes there goes a third of his anti-air. This Reaver is going to do almost nothing here. Action is playing on another level. He is completely outmined game Mini, even though this is Mini's specialty.
Yeah, Action's just too good in these early game shenanigans. He's really got these low economy game states despite being a very aggressive macro Zerg. And yeah, guys, straight up Mutalisk production beats straight up Dragoon production. As long as you've got one hatchery per gateway, there is no chance of these Dragoons ever rising to the challenge and defeating these Mutalisks. He's going to have something else, and he just doesn't. He's desperately going to try and buy time with these Zealots to distract these mutas long enough for this shuttle to wrap around and get into the to second base here for Action to do some damage and potentially come back in this game. But look at the Lings of Action right now already making their way into the main base. This is very problematic for Mini indeed. I don't know how he's going to both do damage with this shuttle and not die at home. It's just too much of an order for him. And look at the Scourge hunting for the shuttle. No way.
Spotted.
Oh no.
Get him. Oh, GG. There it is. Nicely done. Action hiding the lair, navigating this wickedly annoying situation that Mini forced him into. I can't tell you how hard that is, guys. When your first hatch gets blocked and you have to put it down at your third and the opponent is going double gateway, oh my god, is it frustrating. It is so hard to figure your way into a win from that position, but there's Action showing us how it's done. Build a sunken colony over at the natural and then hide the lair. So smart here. He crushes that Reaver follow-up and plays an excellent game for us here. Now he's going to be going up against either Light or JYJ next, and damn, is he looking good. Action successfully navigates that nightmare situation against Mini and finds his way to an easy victory with the Mutalisk Switch, now going up against JYJ, the one who ASL champion who's not in this season of ASL.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that we get to see some games from JYJ after his little bit of disappointment in the qualifiers, but it is what it is. Hopefully he can still put out some really great games for us and show us that, he's still a very capable player here. Although he is up against Action after that performance, I have to wonder just how high his hopes are going to be. Action's an absolute monster in pretty much any matchup, so JYJ is definitely got his work cut out for him, and he's getting scouted first by Action. He's going to be getting this wall into natural expansion. It's so common that we see Terrans go for this these days. Once upon a time, you'd occasionally go for the Mickey Mouse wall in and try and get away with it, but it's been navigated so perfectly nowadays. Every Terran understands how to fully get away with this, and it's really difficult to stop. Even if you 4-pull this, sometimes you can still just pull all the SCVs and defend it, and it's kind of crazy that there's no real hard counterplay to this.
Yeah, it's been worked out. It's pretty much been figured out by the Terran players, and we haven't seen a 4-pull or 5-pull work in the Zerg favor for a very long time. It's just not really a thing anymore. So rare that it's ever even pulled out, and when it is, I can't remember the last time it actually worked. So
Right.
it used to be the case where if you were walling in and the opponent went for 4 pull, you're just dead. Like, it's like an instant win, but it's just not the case.
Turns out SVs are pretty good though, saying that 60 hit points. So if you do pull them quick enough and you got a little bit of micro and body blocking and put some fusion cutter damage by bumping bellies with those Zerglings as quickly as possible, you can still overcome the odds. So kind of crazy that you have this range of dynamism for Terran in the early game now. It used to be that Zerg was the one taking the driver's seat with this 2-hatch opener. Now Terran is kind of switching the tempo back a little bit, getting away with this wall in, being more defensive. Being able to skip the bunker is the main thing here. There's an extra 100 minerals you can put into something else, more SCVs or what have you. So all of your timings and optimizations as Terran just are so much more crisper here.
It's like Action feeling a little bit more confident. His opponent will not do anything aggressive early game. Takes his 12 hatch, and one Marine is making its way across the map. He wants to come in here and force one drone off the line. And that'll go ahead and turn around, run away now. Lings are about to pop out. It's such a funny thing that Terrans are doing this so much now, but it is getting really common here for one Marine to come across the map, do like 1 or 2 shots of damage, and then run away.
Yeah, they've kind of mapped it out perfectly. As long as it's not cross-map, you definitely can get away with the 1 SCV, 1 Marine combination. If it is cross-map, sometimes you can still do a little bit of a delayed poke, potentially. And if you get up to 4 Marines and they only make 4 Lings, then you can still get in there and do something as well. Do see a 2.5 hatch coming out of Action to try and optimize for lava here. Overlord spots the Marines coming in, so he knows he has to stop chasing this SCV. He can't just sit here and play tag all day long. It looks like, though, JYJ just going to be pressuring at those Marines to force additional Lings, and now we'll be turning back.
Yeah, this is not too bad for Action, though. Just making 6 Lings is probably what he wanted anyway. Getting those extra units out, not going to hurt him too much. And he will go ahead and grab this natural now. Ling speed going to be finishing up here soon as well, I imagine. The Spire is on the way, and this is looking pretty good for Action. I mean, little bits of pressure here and there from JYJ, but nothing too significant just yet. And we saw what Action could do from kind of a deficit opening up with the pool first. So I'm excited to see what he can do with this 3-hatch or 2.5 hatch play with hardly any interruption so far.
Yeah. I'm curious to see just how Action wants to navigate this game. It definitely won't be an all-in play like we saw just a few moments ago against Sark. It's going to be probably a much more mid-game centric style. Can still go for a 2-base semi-all-in here though as Zerg with Mutaling and what have you. So JYJ still needs to respect that possibility. With the extra hatchery weather production, much more Zerglings can be produced by the Zerg player. So you keep scanning the natural expansion and keep an eye on how many drones are being made, what's popping out of the eggs, and really start to get a feel for how Action wants to navigate this will be super important. That's why we see these scanners coming online right now, despite knowing it's most likely going to be this Mutalist play. He needs to see exactly how many drones are being made and how many potential Zerglings and Mutalists there may be on the map. He's going to be stimming just 2 or 3 Marines here to then push out and clear out some of these Zerglings. You don't want to stim all of your Marines and waste your medic energy.
So with the 2.5 hatch, Action hasn't had to build any sunken colonies, and he's skipped Ling speed. That's wild. Evolution chamber on the way.
Crazy Zerg, I think.
Ooh, Action. He's gotten away with a lot, and now he's going to push his luck, try to go for Crazy Zerg next. Just going to battle with these Marines out on the map, and he delayed that Ling speed for quite a while, so he's really going to have a lot of mutas here to try and knock this out. Behind that starts his +1 armor. Ooh, this is going to be a strong position for Action going forward.
Right, he also took the evolution chamber like 30 seconds quicker than usual. So it's almost like he wants to create an upgrade deficit for JYJ to worry about, where he's got these much wider windows of having more armor upgrades versus attack later on. That might come into play in a big way. Hasn't tried to get a 3rd base online, so I'm curious, is this going to be a crazy Crazy Zerg, or is this going to be some weird like Quanro-style mass Mutalist Zergling with the Carapace upgrade to make the Zerglings a little bit tankier? That's also another viable player here.
I haven't seen that play for a very long time, Shun. I doubt that's what we're going to see. I imagine it's going to be Crazy Zerg, but not having that third base online just yet, it is giving me a bit of a strange vibe here. I wonder what action's going to go for. He is going to dive on top of some of these Marines. He's actually clearing out a lot of them. But meanwhile, coming straight across the map, these Marines are going to make it right up in here into the natural before these Mutalisks can retreat. He is bringing everything together now, going to hit from both sides at the same time. I think Action just wipes this force. That's a bunch of Lings coming forward. These Mutas are about to dive. Wait, where are the Mutas? The Mutas, where are the other Mutas? Okay, there's the Mutas coming together.
Here, I think. Yeah, he didn't come with everything at once, so a little bit of mistimed connections here from Action. Not the most cost-efficient way of dealing with, and he didn't even bring these Zerglings to the north to come and help as well. There was these 4 Zerglings here just waiting. They could have came in and helped as well. A little bit of a missed micro there from Action, but he is still pretty much even on supply right now, so this is still very favorite for Action currently. There is 4 racks production, so JYJ can flip that script very soon. Without this third base online, he's scanning for it. He's wondering what is going on. And yeah, we don't see that Queen's Nest being thrown down, so I think it is going to be that Quanro style, just +1 Carapace on these Zerglings to make them even harder to kill as they just dive in for potentially a kill move here soon.
What am I looking at? There's the bunker. It's actually going to get targeted down by Lings right now. There's no hive. There's just a ton of Mutas and Lings being produced by Action. He can't even spend all of his money. Look, he's got 500 minerals in the bank right now. He really should be throwing down a third. Or, like, how can you spend all of your money on 3 hatcheries, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, honestly. Action diving in once again. He's actually going to take care of these turrets now. So getting on top of the barracks, that could be a potential kill move. It's just, how does this play out if he doesn't kill him right now? How does this play out in the long game?
Not very good for him. Honestly, he has to do something with this soon. He's kind of desperate to make something happen as well. He has to go in just where he's trying to keep the Marines up by the production area so he can pounce on the natural with the Lings after whittling this down. He can make this work. He's about to go in just a second here. Not really well coordinated with these Lings, but it should be good enough. This bunker's not yet finished. Now he can control the ramp. Has killed the majority of the turrets, zoning out these barracks as well. So he's on top of the turret production right now. He's killed pretty much all of the Marines as well. The additional Lings are waiting outside the rally point here. He cannot get inside this bunker. He's got 1 Marine in that bunker that just popped out of this barracks here, but the Lings don't get inside the main base. He's going to break him, saying this is crazy. He's just barely going to break through and get on top of this Terran production. It's a very well calculated maneuver here from Action to get in just before the vessels are about to pop out. He's almost stabilized. JYJ is so close to holding this. If he can just like get a few more rounds of Marines out, he could maybe do this, but it looks like Action's barely got enough Zerglings and Mutalisks on top of these barracks. It's going to be so difficult for him to stabilize. He's got 900 minerals. Action, make some hatcheries, you absolute madman.
Yeah, this is wild how much money he's actually banked up, and now he's allowing Mutas to fly in and just die. This is a bit sloppy from the hold that he had in the natural to this attack going kind of awry here. It has been a bit of a sloppy game from Action. Can he pull it together and actually finish off this Terran player? Will JYJ start to stabilize? He's pulled a lot of SCVs just to stand there and block, and honestly, that's the right play. Just get those SCVs in the way so that the Lings can't run by. He will have some irradiates here soon, but there's enough Mutas. I don't think that's going to matter. He hasn't been able to slide these turrets forward. He hasn't been able to build turrets closer. There's the third base finally coming up here for Action, and with the armor upgrade that he started so early, that's actually going to play out pretty. Wait, there's no armor.
He just mind gamed him. He just mind gamed him, making it think it was Crazy Zerg, saying that's kind of wild. Oh, the irradiate's finally coming out. I don't know though, saying. I mean, there's a way of stabilizing this game state due to how late this third gas is going to be from Action. JYJ might be able to hold this. It's going to be very awkward. He did lose one or two of his barracks. It's not going to be easy. What? He's making a second Evo. You've already got one, buddy. Is he going to be going into Crazy Zerg anyway? Despite this is such a weird game. Like I'm a little bit confused by Action. I'll be totally honest with you guys. It's not the most well executed game from him, to say the least. Maybe he thought thought that JYJ wouldn't quite be able to survive this long. He did almost have the kill move ready. He hasn't got that many SCVs mining as well, so there is still a lot of hope for action because the Terran is just slowed down so much. But yeah, inversely, we don't have this early third gas, and he's only just now getting his Hydra Den, so now there's going to be a timing potentially for JYJ. Luckily though for action, did kill 2 of those 4 barracks, so there shouldn't, just barely shouldn't be enough Marines to come out onto the map and pressure him.
This is such a strange game, man. I am so confused. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of damage, and the Scourge died as well. I thought he was gonna pair those up with the Mutas and try to dive and get a couple of vessels, but he hasn't been able to do that. There's a lot of vessels out now. There's like 6 vessels soon. 2 more about to pop. There's already 4, so that's so much irradiate. Once that is all done, drones are coming across the map. This is super sloppy from action after such a great game, series of games so far. Surprised to see him have this much trouble here, execute this build. Why a third chamber, dude? He is completely out of the... He's out to lunch. What happened?
He's crazy. He's crazy. I mean, I don't even know what's happening. Maybe he's trying to clown on JYJ or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's a little bit weird. Like, and the weirdest thing is that he's made so many Zerglings this game that if he just didn't mind game and made the Carapace upgrade, not only would he have a better transition right now, those Lings would have done way more work. So weirdly, he's kind of like mind gamed himself in this game, and now might have some problems without that Carapace being done early. Now JYJ is going to start outscaling him once again after building additional barracks and getting this vessel count up to 4 at the very least. He needs to snipe some of these vessels to be safe in this game. He has his 6 o'clock base, which is quite hard to defend with 2 points of access on the ground as well. So if JYJ can sniff out where this third base is, this might be problematic from action. He's trying to slow down this advance at all costs, but JYJ is going to call his bluff and just shove the issue, get this Bioforce across the map and start putting the pressure onto action, who's now making lurkers, but are they going to be in time?
Even if they are in time, I think there's enough radiate to just irradiate every lurker. That's the problem with builds like this where you don't have early gas, is you're just not going to be able to stand up to the number of irradiates that are going to be coming forward. Everything, look at this, everything going to get irradiated now. Can he actually get one of these kills? That's really important. Can he actually snipe this? Okay, he gets one? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
But he's going to be pushed back here. Radiates on everything. All the lurkers are going to end up going down. Only 2 left here to defend this third base, and he can easily go around this as well. It's not like this is the only way into that base. You can go to the left-hand side. It looks like he doesn't want to just yet. Okay, 2 more lurkers over at that position. Lings and Muta's going to come forward, try to fight this, but 2 more vessels with it as well, and these Marines are just cutting through everything. The upgrades are late. Oh yeah, this is it, guys. This has got to be it. The Scourge try to come forward. Here comes this full surround. Everything just dies. JYJ going to push in here to the natural for the win.
This is not going to be good, Saya. There is nothing to stop this Bioforce. JYJ is going to be winning this game. What a sloppy performance from action. He definitely deserves to lose here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is kind of wild. This is really wild that he's thrown this game. Like, if he'd done pretty much anything differently this game, he would have won. If he'd actually committed to the Carapace upgrade, if he'd actually gotten this third base online and spent his minerals, everything would have been so much cleaner for him. It just isn't. Without that third gas coming online, he just doesn't have enough gas to stop this attack from JYJ. GG finally cool. What a bit of an upset there. I could have sworn action was going to dominate that game. Instead, though, JYJ getting a bit of revenge.
Finally, Rain takes the stage. We haven't seen this guy for such a long time. It's because he's just been out of the scene, really, in the interim between ASL seasons. It's insane how little this guy practices and how little he actually plays StarCraft and at what a high level he can compete at. It's really just unbelievable.
He's that meme of the Chad Protoss, definitely through and through. He's probably the guy that they were thinking of when they created those memes. It does seem like he fits the bill. He doesn't really show up to practice. He plays League of Legends all the time. Still shows up and plays with one of the best pro gamers out there. So you kind of got to hand it to that guy. He's also got really godly Protoss versus Protoss, one of the best in the business. You have to show respect. and credit where it's due, and he certainly is due quite a bit in the scene considering just how little effort he puts in. Probably the most cost-efficient players in terms of the time investment he has in this game.
Rain is like the Frieza of the Starcraft universe. This guy never trains, he never practices, and he just expects to win anyway. He's just that strong.
Just power up to his final form if he needs to.
Yeah, and he never expects anyone to be stronger than him, even though he's never trained in his life. It is what it is. He's just the best. We're kidding, of course. He's not. It's not like he never practices and never plays. It's just he plays compared to the other players. Like, compare him to Speed, it's night and day how much these guys are practicing.
Yeah, it's like one guy playing 14 hours a day and the other guy playing 4 or 5 hours a day. It's just totally different ballgame.
Makes me think, though, that it really does depend on the actual effective practice time that you're doing, right? If you're practicing a lot and you're not being very effective with your practice, then you're not gonna make too many gains. It's kind of like working out at the gym, right? If you're sitting there looking at your phone for hours a day, or you're not really doing the workouts you should be doing to push your gains, then someone who's just practicing for or working out for half an hour a day is actually gonna crush you.
That's exactly right, Sayan. And unfortunately, many of us fall victim to that same pattern where, we're getting on the ladder or something and we're just grinding out games and not really staying present and kind of allowing our autopilot to take over too much. Happens to the best of us, even the pro gamers, and it can get you a little bit narrow-sighted in actually identifying the things you should be working on as well. Sometimes it's good to take a break, come back and look at the game with a fresh pair of eyes, or visualize the game from the comfort of your armchair a little bit rather than getting stuck with like tunnel vision on what's happening in your own personal practice.
Definitely guilty of that in my own practice, but here we go. JYJ gonna pull a bunch of SCVs and try to block this Nexus, but this wasn't a Nexus first, was it? This is one gate Nexus, and so Rain is gonna have a Dragoon here. He's gonna have probably range on the way as well. How does this work out for JYJ? He's just gonna go and hope for the best. Try to get a bunker up here in the natural. There is range on the way. He's going to pull every probe. Oh my goodness, this is going to get crazy.
Yeah, it's going to get really wild. Saying he hasn't got range just yet finished up, so you do need to pull some probes here. You can't just micro down the HP on these Marines forever. They will eventually get to you and start building this bunker. A lot of lost mining time here for Rain, though. He's very committing to this, trying to get a drill to the 6 o'clock mineral line that he's got vision of with his scouting probe, allowing him to get on top of these Marines. Pretty good blocking. Can he get this Vulture as well? That's a pretty well done there from Rain. Hasn't lost that many probes relative to the SCVs as well. And he's going to block this Marine. Okay, doesn't get the Marine. That would have been crazy if he somehow got some volleys on that Marine in the public. But he is going to be breaking this bunker. Oh, he does lose one additional probe. But honestly, this is about as good as it could have gone for Rain.
Wow. Rain's control there. You can see he's got a probe down at bottom center. Having that probe there allowed him to send the probes from his main base right on top of all that. Oh, he kills the Dragoon. That Dragoon was really low, so he gets the kill on that. I think this will go down without getting any more damage here. As long as he pulls back the probes on time, there you go. He will get it. So no more damage there. Losing two, was that 2 vultures or just the 1 vulture? Yeah, 2 vultures. He gets a Dragoon, but I don't know if that was worth it for JYJ. He's lost a lot of his presence out on the map, and he won't be able to get mines now.
It's definitely not worth it for JYJ. We don't even have a command center on the way yet. He has to find some damage. He has to get some trades. And look at this, abusing the high ground. Has to push up to the high ground before he can shoot. He will lose this siege tank, and now can just shuffle back the low HP Dragoon. He has to tap out. JYJ has just been styled on by Rain like it was nothing.
Good God, that probe pull was insane. I've never seen a Protoss handle an attack like that better. That was just perfectly done. He made everything dance on top of itself, and the probes were dealing damage the entire time. He just executed that attack so well, crushed all the forces of JYJ, and makes it through with style we're going to get to see another amazing game here, guys, but Rain is back, dude. Hero versus Rain. What an epic matchup, man. We're so lucky to be able to cast these games, Shun. And it's just such a treat to get to watch Rain play. That last game, oh my goodness. What the hell was that?
I've been telling people this guy's kind of a genius. I mean, not in the sense that he's like a really smart guy, just the way he approaches the game, the way he thinks about the game. It allows for some very out-of-the-box thinking and kind of unusual ways of approaching things that maybe some of these other guys aren't quite as confident on pulling the trigger on, whereas he goes down a slightly different behavior tree and seems to get the better of you. And you can't fault him if it's working, right? It looks like he's pretty good.
Yeah, JYJ, I think he's rethinking diving behind the mineral patches there. He was like, oh, yeah, get behind these mineral patches. It's going to be a great position. No, you probably should have pulled back behind the bunker there, but the probe down at bottom center just made that hold so easy for Rain. It made it look so easy anyway, even if it wasn't.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like he had JYJ's number there, and JYJ felt compelled to get some damage done with the game state and wasn't able to do so. I'll have to see how Hero fares against our current reigning king of the hill, so to speak. Will he be able to stay on all the way and not only dispatch Hero, then Light, and then Sulky? We'll have to wait and see. Not going to be getting that all-kill prize, though, unfortunately, with the current state of affairs, but who knows? He might still be putting out some really good games and go on a little bit of a win streak here.
It's possible. Maybe he brings Protoss to another victory. That would be pretty cool. Just great to see Rain in good form right before the ASL. His round of 16, he was seeded, right, from last season. So some people were actually asking us in the comments and stuff, what happened to Rain? What happened to Snow, you know? Well,
this isn't ASL without Snow and Sulky. This sucks.
Well, can't help it. Not everybody is, totally tuned into what's going on with the ASL, but clearly those two players are good enough to get seeded in. They made it through to the round of 4 last season, and so they're going to be joining us soon in the round of 16. Now Rain checking here in the main base. We'll be throwing down his Nexus, and behind that he's only got the 2 Zealots, one on the ramp with the probe. This is pretty standard stuff from Rain to hold off these first couple of Lings, and Hero's just going to take a look at that. Doesn't really want any part of it. He's got his third base on the way, but it's kind of forward third base here. Do you think we're going to see a Hydra bust out of him today?
Potentially. It could just be because he likes the fact that this ramp is small. He doesn't mind. This bridge is small. He doesn't mind taking this. It is a little bit awkward, though, defending these bases against Protoss in the mid to late phase. I do love to see this from Rain, though. This is a beautiful commitment to just having that probe on the ramp the entire time until finally he knows he's actually going to be safe. This shows a really understanding of the early game from Rain. He's not going to be like skill checked like some of these maybe weaker Protoss players will, and not having the tools available in case there was more Lings being committed to trying to get a run by or something. It means that in the future he also won't be taken aback by that kind of play. Being able to be confident in your play so much that you'll sacrifice a worker's mining time just to make sure you're safe is a sign of a very solid player.
Oh yeah, it's a great decision here for Rain. Oh, his one Zealot's gonna go around the one side though. Oh, if Hero catches that, looks like he won't. Pulling back those Lings. He wasn't paying attention at that very precise moment, and so Rain will be able to run his Zealots back home without taking any damage. Just a kind of missed opportunity there for Hero, but nothing too crazy. Sometimes the pathing kind of messes up when you're trying to pull your Zealots back like that.
Yeah, with this gateway first, you do have access to more Zealots earlier on, obviously. Like, you got like at least 2 or 3 more Zealots than usual based on certain timings, so the Zerg player has to respect that. That's why we see Hero investing into a few more Zerglings than usual, but he's got speed upgrade on the way and is trying to go for a 973, so he's trying to lie to Rain right now and say, look, I've got Ling speed, I can't afford to Hydra bust you, but the reality is there is going to be some pressure behind this. this. He is going to try and put a little bit of DPS down onto that gateway to make the wall a little bit easier to bust as well. Now, Rain should sniff something out based on these two Overlords being here. With the Overlords chilling out at the natural expansion this long usually means Hydra bust. So I'm hoping Rain gets a good read on that, and this is a great move out from Rain right when he wants to start producing Hydralisks as well. Potentially forcing more Lings, or at the very least getting scouts with this Zealot force to see how many drones are at this third base and put pressure on. Can be a great play here.
Really calm defensive play from Hero, waiting for these Zealots to go all the way in. He's not going to be able to... Oh, he actually made all Lings to defend this, and he's going to jump on top with the drones. Target on the drone. He does get one, but the Lings are going to get right intermingled with all of these Zealots. He's going to pick them all off. He's probably pretty suspicious seeing 3 drones at the third base. That is a pretty standard number for a Hydralisk push, and the Zealot is going to make its way into the natural. He will end up seeing this. There it is. The Hydra has been revealed. Very important moment here as that Hydra gets revealed. Now, Rain is fully aware of what's going on. 2 more cannons go down immediately here back at home.
In my opinion, it's actually a big mistake. I would have much rather him, like, say, make more drones at this third and have only, like, say, 6 or 5 mining at the natural, so he could saturate this third more than usual to kind of, you know, obfuscate the suspicions a little bit here. But with that early of scouting, he's going to get these cannons online just a little bit quicker than he should be able to, which should take the wind out of the sails of this Hydra bus. He will still probably get the gateway, but it makes it a little bit harder to get the forge now, so the upgrade will finish most likely.
Yeah, that upgrade's probably going to finish. And in fact, he has to pull back here for a moment. I don't think that Hero's going to be able to dive in on this, but he's still making Hydras, so maybe he thinks that it's possible. There's still quite a few Zealots in this natural as well. They're going to cause quite a bit of a problem. Here we go, diving forward. Lings are going to just stand in the front here. Buy some time for these Hydras to deal that damage. He's managed to kill 2 of the cannons, and these are the important cannons. These are the ones that are defending the Forge, so he can actually kill the Forge now. And will he be able to deny this upgrade? The upgrade has been cancelled, I believe. We need to click on one of these Zealots to see for sure, but I think that was cancelled.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but my guess would be yes. A little bit good play here from Hero. He can also dive in again. There's not that much Zealots to tank. Pretty good body block, but he needs to pull probes. Look at that target fire. I think Rain's going to die. There's just not enough here to defend this. The probes are going to go down as well, making the economy just a little bit worse, even if he does somehow survive. Yeah, this is definitely going to be an action victory here, unfortunately, for Rain. He did have some pretty good scouting in the early game, but definitely getting outclassed by Hero with this 973 break.
Here we are in what could be the last game of the night. Hero versus Light. Would like to see that Light versus Soul Key final, and in fact we did have a Light versus Soul Key Soup Duel series recently that was a lot of fun, but maybe Hero can take down Light and bring Zerg to an early victory in this series. He's down here in the bottom left on Deja Vu. I like the white, but I would prefer if we could change this this Terran color, though. It's a little bit hard to see the flags when they're red.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it is what it is. I do kind of like the sort of gunmetal gray mixed with the red. It kind of gives it a little bit of an interesting contrast and two-tone vibe. Doesn't really work for identifying what unit has been plagued and what hasn't. Can be a little bit problematic for your first glance, but yeah, I'm okay with pretty much any combination of colors as long as it doesn't clash with the map too much or the other player. I'll be happy.
Gonna go ahead and get this 12 hatch and... Oh, okay, hold on. 12 hatch sends the drone. Oh, I got mixed up with the 2 different supplies here. I was looking at Light supply for a second and getting a little bit confused, but he goes ahead, throws down the 11 pool, 10 gas. Pretty standard stuff here from Hero. He is scouting the wrong direction because he didn't see anything with this Overlord. The barracks up on that high ground. Now, this is a play that's come back into style a little bit more recently, but it really depends on the map, having that barracks on high ground or not.
Yeah, some maps are a little bit harder to wall in than others, and you kind of want to respect the fact that if you try and be too greedy, you might just get bowled over by a pull first. So maybe not the worst case to just take this on the high ground, just in case of some early shenanigans. Does start that CC at a nice crisp timing. You can see how good the optimization is for these Terran players. Light is getting his command center at 2 minutes 40 after making a Marine. Usually the normal like foreigner guys you see on the ladder, they're taking their command center at 240 if they skip Marine.
Yeah, he is pretty fantastic when it comes to the overall optimizations. That's really his bread and butter. Drones are going to chase this first Marine, and it's kind of a reverse, but at least he forces some more lost mining time. Usually you see that Marine come forward and it pushes the drones away, but here he's just going to be chasing. Now Hero has those lings out. Will probably lose a ling. No, he does pull back in time. His two Marines looking for a little damage. If you start to lose a ling or two in this early stage, then the naked Marine pressure becomes really hard to handle.
Yeah, and it is difficult keeping track of everything. For these pro gamers, it's a little bit easier. You see 500 APM for Hero right now, so you won't necessarily just lose one of these Zerglings right off the bat. But for us on the ladder or something, it can be very problematic. If you look away to macro for 1 second, they push forward and put some DPS onto one of your Zerglings. Suddenly you have to make more just to not die, and it doesn't feel so good at all. A little bit unoptimized there from him. Oh, he's doing this weird thing where he's playing 2.5 hatch despite opening 2 hatch style, where he's not getting the extra drones for the gas timing, so he's getting more gas, but he's delaying his spire. It's a bit of an interesting way of playing this. He's kind of doing like a best of both worlds. I'm not sure how this works out in terms of optimizations, but I'm sure it definitely does confuse the Terran players he's against.
I wonder what exactly the benefits are for this build. The ling's getting stuck there, kind of funny.
Yeah,
we'll have to hit stop position and bring those forward, but Marines are out in pretty high number, and I don't see more lings popping here just yet for Hero. That's a lot of Marines coming forward. If he doesn't pop like 6 more lings right now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. If he does, though, and ling speed finishes up, he could take a fantastic trade here. Drones and a sunken colony. He did not see this coming, and he could get punished massively here in a moment.
This is a genius play from Light. Usually the Terrans are coming a little bit more delayed than this, but this is just in the perfect window of timing attack. This is how you play Terran. You abuse timings, and Light is one of the best at the business in abusing timings and cutting corners when necessary. He's going to get right into the main base. This is problematic. He's going to try and do a force around with these drones. They will be target fired though. Loses 2, 3, maybe 4 drones here. This is kind of getting a little bit out of hand for action. He does do a pretty good surround, but he did lose 3 or 4 drones to these Marines, and he lost a lot of mining time as well. There's even fire pats that are now here. I hope there's not too many links to just wipe this out though. He's going to try and stim and go and see if he can get a run by up the ramp. If he gets past this sunken, it's huge. The Ling's buying precious time for that sunken to get a few tentacle hits onto those bio units. Now the meters are popping out, so they should be able to clean this up efficiently. It's a little bit of an interesting play here from Light, but Hero does slap it down.
Yeah, Hero gets all of his drones back to mining on their separate patches. That's something that's really hard to do in a situation like this, is after you hold something with drones, get all your drones back to mining efficiently once again, as quickly as possible, because you also have to worry about the follow-up, handling everything, and getting those drones to their right patches. It's tough, but he's managed to do it pretty darn well, and with all the cleanup of Marines and Firebats that he's done so far, there's not really any pressure that Light can put on. Are we going to see a third base finally from here? It looks like that drone's heading out now.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he doesn't make the same mistake as Action did and doesn't take this third base for quite some time. Against someone of Light, you definitely want to get that third gas up as soon as possible. Light's also the kind of guy that likes to cut SCVs, so he'll sit on like 35 to 40 SCVs and just get a much crisper bio timing with his science vessels to come out and put a little bit more pressure on you. Because Terran is all about those tiny windows, so if you do make cuts to your SCV production, it does mean you've got like a... You see the CCs aren't flashing right now. It's because he's cutting SCVs because he wants to get his production even further along than usual, just so that he's got like a 5-second window he can hit you with.
Yeah, it's pretty standard for Light, but not very normal in the matchup. A lot of players these days like to get up to 45, 50 SCVs really quickly, 55 even in some cases, and take that third base, eventually double expand into a fourth as well. While putting on some pressure to the Zerg player, it's definitely doable, but Light can just put on so much more pressure with the way he cuts and adds on these extra racks so fast. Look at how quickly he's going up to 5 racks with the 2 starports coming online already. He is going to be able to put on a monstrous amount of pressure with a huge amount of Marines and Medics. He won't have as strong of a mid and late game, but this point right here, when he starts to push out and he gets those first couple of starport units out, it's going to be so hard to hold.
Yeah. So far, Hero, though, needs to stay on top of this Bible, keep it shaved down as much as possible, just a little bit off the top over and over again, maintain that haircut, so it doesn't become a giant ball of mess for him to deal with later on. Looks like Light has done a pretty good job of macroing up, though. 80 supply right now does 65 of Hero. Has got enough bioforce to really put the pressure on. Hero needs to make sure he maneuvers around this bio threat, keeps track of it, as well as trying to find points of weakness like this and just start to get some good trades going. Needs to keep the count down to under 2 control groups worth of army so he can make this transition safe. If there's too much of a bioforce, he will just bowl him over despite having a transition on the way, so needs to be extremely careful, does Hero.
Okay, Light coming forward pretty far. There's a lot of Lings kind of wrapping around this army, but the reinforcement train is coming forward already. Light is going to dive on top of that reinforcement. Hero turns around. He's a little bit scared. He's going to lose everything. It can swing so quickly to one direction or the other. Diving on top of these reinforcements now, though, he's finally decided to commit, and he's killed quite a bit of these Marine forces, actually doing a really good job here. And he's got lurkers behind this, so he should be able to hold no problem. This is some good control from Hero.
Yeah, this is really good. He's sandbagged this push so much with these efforts, and he's going to get on top of these rallied Marines potentially if he wants to as well. Just keeping them back for longer is the main thing. Even if he doesn't kill many of them, just stopping them from pushing out to rejoin the main bioforce is the goal here for Hero. So keeping these Mutalisks alive and checking around the map, keeping an eye on where the army movements are of Light are crucial. So he doesn't want to sacrifice those Mutalisks just yet. Has some Zerglings trying to get onto the map to join those Mutalisks, but not able to do so. It would be great if he could keep some Zerglings with this Mutas to help clean up these rallied Marines that aren't very well protected. Light is desperate to try and rejoin these bioforces. That's why he's bringing his main force back, but it won't be long before these vessels are online anyway, so eventually he can start to lay siege to Hero. I just think Hero's done such a good job of weathering this potential push timing, and those 3 medics have no energy left, so Light needs to make some additional medics as well as just Marines here.
First couple of vessels are out, and he goes directly into dropships afterwards. This is a very tempo-oriented play, but it can be super, super strong. Right as Hero is getting into his extra hatchery and starting to get his macro really online, he might not have enough in the main base, and he's actually got his mutas in a really weird location. So this drop is going to come in and land no problem. No lurkers here ready to defend this. The Scourge are out of position. Dude, Hero's going to take so much damage.
Yeah, it was problematic because he's going to shuffle his defenses from the low ground to come and defend this, and Light has another big army just waiting outside the rally point to either elevate some more units into the main base or bust the natural. It's not an easy defense for Hero no matter what he does. Additional dropships coming in. Needs to somehow stop these dropships from elevating units. He doesn't target fire those Scourge though, so we'll be connecting on one of the vessels and the dropship as well. Those are pretty good connections all together by Hero. It is cleaning up this force a little bit with those subterranean spines, but not enough. There's still enough residual force here for Light to keep the pressure on. We see more and more lurkers being brought up here to try and defend, but he's not able to get a good cost-efficient trade here against Light, who's still got one dropship alive and ferrying more and more of these Marines up into the main base. Oh, he's starting to wipe out the tech of Hero. This is devastating. He's already lost a defile amount. He might lose his evolution chamber and his upgrade timing too. Tries to shuffle those bio units this back for maximum surface area benefit. Does target fire down this lurker as well. This is problematic to say the least for Hero. This is the writing on the wall. He has got a 4th base coming online, but he's losing all of his tech in his main right now.
This is the timing we were talking about when Light goes for this kind of subtle play where he skips out on a lot of SCVs and tries to just pressure you down before everything comes online. This is the fruit of that tree. This is what he's been working towards throughout in this game. Now he's got all of this pressure. He's got all of these Marines breaking through everywhere, and he's just going to continue to smash through bases. He's going to continue to wreck this tech. Hero is on death's door right now. He's got 1,200 minerals, 1,200 gas, but he can't really produce anything. He's lost so much tech. Back at home, he is going to throw down another Defiler Mount, another Hydra Den. He can't build anything, Shun.
No, he could build only Zerglings right now. It's really bad, to say the least. Saying has got this Nidus Canal set up so he can like ferry units back and forth between the top left and bottom left. He's going to need to, because Light is already trying to get up there in that top left quadrant with some forces to try and knock this base out as well. He's even got the vessels sharking around. Oh, look at the eraser trick. There's no borrower upgrade. He's going to lose a couple of those drones potentially, and he can't really get anything through the other side of that Nidus Canal without them taking splash damage as well. Really nice execution there from Light to double dip on the eco damage and preventing forces coming out of the Nidus from being too cost effective as well. This is really nicely done from Light. He's showing Terrans all across the world how you play this matchup. It's such a mid-game centric matchup. You have to do some damage to the Zerg with these crazy thin timing windows before you allow yourself to go into a late game and get double expansions for that 4th gas.
Yeah, now he's gone ahead and added a bunch more SCVs, of course. Double expansion going in. Oh my gosh, Hero, really? He hit 1 Scourge on each of those, and then he forgot about it and sent 2 onto 1 vessel. So that's a little bit unfortunate. He could have gotten both those vessels, but doesn't really get the damage. He's still alive technically, but Light just has so much momentum in this game now. 55 supply, Shun. Like, we're below the point of no return. We're below what Zerg can really hold on with. Oh my gosh, here comes another drop into the main.
Yeah, and we got another dropship coming into the main base. We still have some vessel support as well for this. GG is called. Look at that neutral Scourge as well. I love it when that happens, where they leave the game just as the eggs are hatching, so one of them is a different color. Kind of funny. Really bizarre game, saying honestly. Like I thought for a moment there Hero was going to be fine. He was doing a pretty good job shaving off that Bioforce, but Light is just so good at what he does. One of the best in the business at just getting out onto the map, finding that razor thin timing window, and just exploding in craziness in his power level to the point where Hero just can't even deal with it.
Wow, and we once again make it into our final game, the 7th game of the night. Light versus Soul Key, or 8th game, excuse me. Light versus Soul Key, a great way to end things off. And look at this, Light sending up 2 SCVs right off the bat. Are you kidding me?
Gee, I wonder what this is gonna be. It's gonna be that barracks supply build, putting on a lot of pressure. This is how you can beat any Zerg in the world, as long as you've got some execution capability. Even in the qualifiers for ASL, we saw some wild situations where A-rank Terrans were knocking out the pro gamers with these kinds of plays. It's really wild what you can do in this matchup. Terran is usually sitting back in the early game, but this is one of the things they can do to really go on the aggressive, and it is going to be that 12 hatch from Soul Key. Oh, this is brutal. This is like bringing me back to like Boxer versus Yellow days, where he got like bunker rushed like 3 games in a row, and he went hatchery first every single time. Light might be doing a little bit of a repeat of that kind of action here. If he doesn't scout this with like a cross map scout or something, there's not really much you can do if you don't scout this early on.
He's just starting the spawning pool, man. It's so rough. Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Oh boy. Yeah, Sulky's not gonna find that. I really wanted to see a nice long game between these 2 players, but it really does seem like Light oh wait. He saw the SCV. SCV came in from an awkward angle. He is gonna find it. SCV came in at a weird angle there, man, and he does now find out about it. It's still going to be insanely hard to hold, but maybe he can still do it.
Yeah, maybe he can still do it. He might even just sacrifice the natural, by the way. It's a really good idea to like let them shoot the natural hatchery and then cancel it. Or if they ignore the natural hatchery, you can just not mine at the natural and just keep it for lava and let them waste time shooting it for a while and then pushing into the main base and then trying to surround with lings on both sides as well. There's so many ways you can navigate against this depending on how the Terran is playing. He's trying to squeeze out a little bit of gas here, which is crazy. Does finally start to pull off these drones to try and get on top of these Marines. Does lose one of those drones though, needs to be seriously careful. Might catch one of those Marines, but not yet. Pretty good trades here from Light thus far. Does kill 2 of those drones. First Marine does fall, second Marine now as well. This is pretty good from Sulky to buy some time for these Zerglings though. It hasn't gone Light's way at all. Unfortunately, like Sulky's like navigated this pretty flawlessly, honestly. It's a bit of a botch from Light considering Sulky managed to sniff this out and then respond like this. Really, he's made Light look a little bit silly here thus far.
What a weird bunker that Light tried to put down. He wanted to be in range of the spawning pool, and it just came out so late. I mean, he's not even gonna get the natural. It's crazy, the greed from Light in this game. What was that? He just canceled a bunch of stuff. Did he just cancel a whole bunch of lings so he could build drones or what?
He probably was going to build lings and then thought, no, I need to transition and make sure I don't lose a normal game, because Light will float these barracks and try and play a normal game from here. So he's probably, it might be one or the other. Either he cancelled drones to make lings or he's cancelling lings to make drones.
It's a really tight ramp. Yeah, this is hard to break. I think that's what he's decided. Yeah, drones instead. He was like,
I think so.
I can't be building these lings. That ramp is way too tight, and I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I agree with him. I like this choice from Sulky a lot. I mean, there's no bioproduction for quite some time with these 2 barracks floating. He knows there's no real risk of taking any damage. This is probably one of the only times in the game he's going to get to drone up freely. Light will be getting a very fast academy and putting on some more pressure soon, potentially. Oh, it might be a tank push. With this fast factory, he might be thinking about a tank push potentially as well to try and end the game. If Sulky can't get enough mutalisks out, he's going to be in trouble. He does trade pretty good against these bio units and critically gets in with the Zergling to get us some scouting information. That is huge for Sulky. Getting some scouting information right now is crazy, but he doesn't see the factory. That's a pretty big deal. Not seeing that factory means he can't necessarily figure out what's going to be the perfect follow-up here from Light. This might just be a bio play. This could be a tank push, but he doesn't know about that.
Surprised to see him build a sunken colony right now, but maybe he's thinking, oh, there could be potentially a vulture with that gas. Like, where are you using that gas? I know that he's got the academy down, but just getting 1 sunken colony here does make a lot of sense. Even 2 sunken colonies, not too bad. Gonna go ahead and kill that SCV. So the sunken colony coming in handy there. Starport on the way. Is he just... What is this? What are we seeing? Is he actually gonna... Wait. Is he gonna drop? Do you think he's just gonna make a drop ship and just drop on 1 base? That's so weird, but... It might actually work because he's going to build a bunch of sunken colonies at the front.
You can just play SK Terran on 1 base. You have 4 barracks production and 1 starport making a vessel. You can just barely afford that on 1 base. So that is also a possibility that he just wants to tech up on 1 base here and maybe get a dropship eventually to see if he can bypass these sunken colonies. Either way, he's going to have to force as many sunkens and Zerglings as possible. Just 4 Marines and 2 medics is not the most strongest of the forces here, but for some reason Sulky's really respecting that and making a 3rd sunken. A little bit cost inefficient from Sulky. Does have a macro hatchery coming online, but the spy's a bit late, so maybe, just maybe, Light can get away with this. I have to imagine that Sulky's going to be fine, though. As long as he doesn't make any big blunders here, I think he'll be okay.
I think Light might be expecting that the Spire is a little bit slower than it actually is.
Maybe.
And that he can actually get away with this because Sulky making these extra sunkens, what he's saying is, with his play, is that, no, as long as I live here, I'm fine. As long as I get my mutas out, I'm fine. So, like, there's a 4th sunken coming. This is like, yeah, this is really secure play. He's just, as long as I live, I'm going to be good. So he throws that down. He's going to throw an evolution chamber at the front just to kind of body block there, stop the Marines from getting the surface area, and that's going to be enough. Yeah, he can't break this, and mutas are on the way. Even if this is a dropship coming across the map, which I thought, yeah, there it is. Dropship's coming. Mutas are going to be out as the dropship comes in. He built, he put a SCV in there too, by the way, Shun. Is he going to build a bunker?
Yeah, he probably will. He probably knows he needs to because the mutas will come eventually, so he needs some kind of additional hit points for those Marines to leverage. But one thing I'd like to point out is that Sulky mined some gas during that early game defense. Usually Zergs don't even bother mining any gas when defending this early pressure from Terran, so it's kind of wild how fast he was able to transition back into Mutalisks again after that initial issue. And he's going to be building some bunkers behind the mineral line of this natural, but maybe in a better location is necessary. Yeah, closer to the gas would be better.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny, actually. He's going to lose his Marines there out at the front. I think that Sulky could just kill a bunker, honestly. A bunker's not that bad.
Kill him. Yeah.
Just murder it. You should be able to...
If anything, just ignore it. Just don't mind and go kill him back in his base if he wants to. I think it's actually might be a little bit of a mistake from Sulky to pull these mutas back. I think he should have dived into the main base of Light there and just killed all those naked Marines. He should just let this gas die, take a third base, and then go kill the main base of the Terran. There wasn't that much to defend in the main base, and now he's going to stim back into the bunker. And he can't mine gas here. This is problematic for Sulky, and he's came back with these mutas. I don't know, man. I think he should have maybe did a little something with these mutas before coming back, but it is what it is.
The second bunker is actually kind of funny. It's kind of clutch here for Light. You can't just dive on that very easily. Stim bunker. It's rough. You gotta put a bunch of lings together. So he is gonna get the lings out. He's just gonna dive, kill the SCV, and then destroy these two bunkers. He should be able to clear this without losing too much, but he is losing a lot of mining time here in the natural. Here we go. There he is, jumping back in with the bunker. The stim there, going to kill a few mutas it looks like, but not that many, and the lings will clear everything. This is pretty annoying, but I still feel like Sulky has a very big advantage in this game.
Yeah, he did basically make Sulky lose out on like 600 or so gas by just not being able to mine it for so long. So it's a pretty big deal. He stopped 6 or 7 mutas being made here, so there is a lot less mutas to leverage against him in stopping this expansion being taken and putting the pressure. So now Light at least has a playable game state, although it is currently even on supplies, which indicates Sulky being in a very comfortable position. And with Terran only being on one base, you have to wonder if these 3 hatch production of Zerg will just overrun this.
I imagine it will, but maybe there's something Light can do. I'm not quite sure there. There is going to be some vessels with the Irradiate coming online here in a moment. He's got +1 most likely on the way now for this Carapace, and Light's going to push out a little bit. He's got no turrets back at home, so if he moves out too far, the mutas can just dive in, and it's so easy for Sulky to just build like 2 more sunken colonies and just make it impossible for Light to break that. So a little bit worried that that's going to end up happening here, that Light's just going to end up losing by trying to dive into the natural while the mutas go into his main. Oh, diving on top of one of the vessels. He does get 1. He gets 2. Oh! Wow. Really well done there. 2 vessels down, but look at this. Double dropship into the main is really scary. Hold on a second. No mutas left to actually deal with this, and he's going to leverage the rest of this force into the main. Oh my gosh, is Sulky actually going to get broken here? That's a lot of lurkers. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I think he will just barely have enough prerequisite lurker-ling muta to clean this up. It was a nice idea from Light. Has got some additional forces that will be joining, but it's a tight choke with these lurkers supporting. So it's maybe unloading and behind the mineral line would be better here while Sulky's distracted. Can maybe get some of these drones from the low ground. Lurkers can attack from the high ground by getting up against the cliff face, so that's what Sulky's trying to put his lurkers up there now. He's pretty much denying most of the damage. There's not really a lot coming out from Light. Sulky's actually ahead in supply as well, so I think Sulky's starting to do it. I don't think there's enough damage done to Sulky. He's also going to try and hunt down these dropships.
Yeah, going after the dropships is big. Getting rid of that threat is going to remove a lot of the utility here from Light, and GG is called. Ooh, Sulky handling all of that insanity brought forward by Light. Oh, what a wacky game. I haven't seen a BBS for a while, especially not a BBS that went that far into the game, but really Light did mess up. He really went too ham trying to get into the main base and just get the straight up win. If he just stayed in the natural and built a bunch of bunkers there and killed the natural, how much of a chance does Sulky have from that position? It's much worse.
It's much harder. It's much harder, yeah. It would have been probably better for him to do that. He's maybe even anticipating Sulky considering cancelling that hatchery. Usually you don't need to, though, because Terrans want to ignore the hatchery and come up the ramp, and Sulky was banking on that. That's why we saw the sunken placed in the main right away. He really navigated that to perfection, especially mining gas while that was all going on. Usually Zergs don't have the time to squeeze out any gas, but he managed to get 50 gas in the bank just before having to pull drones to defend, and that meant his lair timing was just a little bit more crisp than it should have been, allowing him to get those mutas out.
Shun's having a bit of a migraine right now, so I'm going to end things off myself. If you guys haven't heard yet, him and I are doing the ASL cast this season for Starcast TV, and it's live on Soup, SCTVEN. Also, the Soup Duel series. Gotta go check that out as well. If you're a little bit hungry for more after watching that Sulky versus Light game, definitely head over. We've got best of 7 between Sulky and Light that was played recently, so go ahead and watch that series. Enjoy. Thanks for being here, guys. Go and give Shun a nice comment down below as well. He was having a headache throughout this cast, but he managed to muscle his way through, so really appreciate him. We're also going to be casting the SCSL finals coming up this weekend, and it'll be out a little bit later next week, and then we'll be getting into the SCSL Season 4. That tournament is doing very, very well, so if you haven't seen that yet, and you're maybe not subscribed to Starcast TV, go subscribe. All of those SCSL videos come out on Starcast TV, but it's the same as here. It's our voices, me and Shun. It's a whole lot of fun. So if you enjoyed the KCM, you'll love the SCSL for sure. It's very similar to the ASL, but it goes all year round, and the format is pretty good. It starts off with, you know, best of 3s and stuff like that, rather than just starting with best of 1s. I know a lot of people are annoyed by that. Sometimes I'm a little bit annoyed as well with the ASL. The best of 1 format at the beginning is like, man, sucks to get knocked out with just one game, you know, to lose a player because they weren't able to perform in a best of 1. It's a little bit rough. Anyways, guys, that's it for this week. Looks like Terran is well ahead right now, but there's still a chance that Zerg could come back next week and tie things up. It's just kind of unlikely here. Terran would have to lose and Zerg would have to win, but we're probably going to see a ZVP semifinals. There might be a bit of a change with the way that KCM is done going forward because of the ASL. So I'll keep you guys updated if you're following the channel. I will let you know if there's going to be any delays or anything like that. Could happen, might not. I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.